Welcome to Outset Island. Check out this giant bird. Here's a sword. Here's your first flight. Oh no, your sister. Here, take this shield. Now you're a pirate, traveling the great seas, learning new skills, sneaking into awesome fortresses, exploring new locations, finding your sister. Oh no, a mysterious character. Awesome. Now there's a talking boat. Look, there's a new island. Free this guy from prison. Now you're sailing the sea. Look, a dragon. Bird people. New location. Awesome dungeon. First boss of the game. Ooh, shiny stone. Ooh, new item. Now you can control the wind. Exploring the new world. Oh look, a giant tree. Oh, it talks. Oh look, another awesome dungeon. Another awesome boss. Another awesome shiny stone. Oh no, the world is in danger. Look, a giant storm. Oh no, Jaboon's gone. Oh, he's on your island. Oh, a third shiny stone. Put this one here, put that one there, and this one here. Whoa, a big explosion. Now there's giant tower. Awesome levels, awesome boss, awesome cutscene. Whoa, look, Hyrule. Oh my god, how cool is this frozen level? Wow, the Master Sword. Oh no, it's all unfrozen. Wow, testing my newly acquired powers. Back to the Forsaken Fortress. Now I'm playing some tennis, saving my sister, fighting a giant chicken, meet Ganondorf, do 2 more dungeons, unlock the true power of the Master Sword. Be told you need to collect 8 pieces of the Triforce to progress any further. Go to a lair box and pay for the incredible chart. Go to the location the chart is telling you to go to. Explore the square until you find the Triforce chart. Collect the Triforce chart. Change the direction of the wind. Sail all the way to Tingle Island. Go to Tingle and pay him to translate the map. Use the newly translated map to see where you need to go next. Change the direction of the wind. Spend a decent chunk of time sailing to the point the game is telling you to go to. Collect the Triforce piece. Check your map. See where the next map is. Change the wind to that direction. Sail to the location the game is explicitly telling you to go to. Explore the square until you find the Triforce chart. Again. Collect the Triforce chart. Again. Change the direction of the wind. Again. Sail all the way to Tingle Island. Again. Go to Tingle and pay him to translate the map. Again. Use the newly translated map to see where you need to go. Again. Change the direction of the wind. Again. Spend a decent chunk of time sailing to that point. Again. Collect the next Triforce piece. Again. And spend multiple hours doing this 6 more times. Obtain the Triforce of Courage to return to Hyrule Castle, shatter the barrier, fight the Darkness, face these bosses showing how much you've grown, fight Puppet Ganon, climb the rest of the dungeon, fight Ganon, save the world, the end! Anyone else seeing the problem here? Hi, hello, and welcome to the video. My name's Danahan, and this is Overthinking Game, where we think all things gaming, game making, gameplay. And today, we are talking about padding in gaming. When it's good, when it's bad, how to implement it, and why so many games fall into what I'm going to call the mid-game crawl. And we're going to do this by using The Legend of Zelda Wind Waker, as it's a perfect example of a game that does the mid-game crawl. Of course, Wind Waker isn't the only game guilty of this. It's just the best example of the scenario, as even Nintendo agreed it was so bad they streamlined it in the HD remake for the Wii U. Other examples of the mid-game crawl can be seen in games such as Slime Rancher when you're looking for resources to upgrade your ranch. But the resources you receive from the drill and the amount is randomly determined. But if you want to hear more about what I think about Slime Rancher, go check out my video on Slime Rancher and ignore the fact that I completely forgot to unmute a background track, so half the video is just one slideshow, but apart from that, it's a pretty good video. However, before we continue, I should probably define what is the mid-game crawl. The mid-game crawl is a section of the game where the story can't progress until you complete a certain task, obtain a certain item, or meet a certain requirement, which in most cases is tediously time-consuming and boils down to a fetch quest. However, until it's completed, the game cannot continue, as whatever it is you need to do in the crawl is integral to the next part of the game. Pokemon games are a good example of games that have a lot of small crawl mechanics, where until you do the right thing, the game will not progress. Until you talk to all the right people in all the right order, at all the right time, the story will not move forward. The road will always be closed until you meet Criteria X. The Grunt will always be unwilling to talk to you until you obtain item Y, and the criminal boss won't advance their plans until you've visited location Z. It's actually very conscious of the criminal boss to do that, waiting for you to be equally footed. It's very nice actually, I respect that. Even though you want to explore the world and want to discover new Pokemon, the game is preventing you from doing so because of some arbitrary roadblock. In Diamond and Pearl, you can get to Valor Lakefront about 8 hours into the game. And just beyond that town is Sunny Shore City, which has lots of powerful Pokemon in it. Oh boy, I sure would love to fight them and challenge myself against this powerful and yet unseen Pokemon in the game. But no, you can't do that because there has been a blackout in Sunnyshore's, so the repair team is stopping anyone from going there. Even though Route 222 is a straight pathway without any electrical bridges or other forms of transport that would prevent me from being able to advance to the town, and even if there was sign blocking the road, there are 2 paths to get to the town, so travellers could just take the non-blocked path. Plus, you know, it's the middle of the day, where the sun is providing light, preventing a blackout from being a problem. And it's a town, and people could still surf to it, or fly to it. People live in the town. They need to commute. But no, even though that may be where you, as the player, want to go in this game about adventuring, it isn't until nearly 10 hours later that the game gives you permission to go and explore this area. Boy, gee, I'm so thankful I've been given permission to go explore. But if you're given permission to explore, you're not really exploring, are you? You're just going where the game is telling you to go when it tells you to. However, despite this, this is not a mid-game crawl, as even though there is all the hoop jumping, you are still progressing through the game, and you can still do other things in the game. You can play through the story, you can level up your Pokemon, you can explore the underground, or you can horrifyingly force your Ditto and Magikarp to breed until you have a perfect IV shiny Magikarp. There's lots of things you can do. Ultimately though, by the game preventing you from passing through a literal and figurative roadblock, all it does is remind you that you are playing a game, reminding you that you are not actually exploring a world, but instead just following a long string of step-by-step instructions. As well as games like Half-Life, where you have to take the 40-minute detour around the long way because, oh no, there's a locked door in front of me, and there's no physical way I'm getting past it. Even though I have a crowbar, whose literal definition in the Cambridge Dictionary is a heavy iron bar with a bent end that is used to help lift heavy objects off the ground or to force things open. Not to mention the grenades and multiple firearms I have. That's not going to age well, is it, me saying that? Crowbar not able to pry open the door? Well, let's see what 5 satchel charges does to the door. Oh wow, nothing. Guess these are just firecrackers. Never mind! Ultimately, this isn't a mid-game crawl either though, but a way to pad the game to make you feel like you're achieving more than you are. But that's the topic for my roadblock video. Go check that out. Should be in the eye. I think it's this way. No, it's that way. Yep, over here somewhere. So, let's actually talk about the question I proposed a few moments ago. When is padding good? When is it bad? And how should games implement it? And the answer is simple. When is padding good? Never. It's never good. Don't do it. When should it be implemented? Don't. No. Stop it. When is it bad? Always. It's always bad. Don't pad your games. If you feel the need to pad your game, something's gone wrong. Stop, take a step back, look at your game, and reevaluate. Because if you are actually choosing to pad your game, something's gone wrong. If the player is given an in-game time-sensitive quest where you are told, "We'll leave as soon as the cart is ready." However, no matter how long you wait, the cart won't be ready until you complete the mayor's quest, which is to talk to every person in the town to find out what they think about the possible end of the world, which takes about a real-world hour of gameplay to do. This is bad. This is just padding the game and wasting the player's time for no reason, just so people can brag about, yeah, my game takes 50 hours to beat. Even though you're actually only playing about a game 20 hours at a time, and the other 30 hours just pure padding that we didn't need to include in the game. But hey, 50 hours! Money well spent! Ha ha ha! However, this shouldn't be confused with slowing the game down to world build. If the player is given an in-game time-sensitive quest where they are told, "We'll leave as soon as the cart is ready," but the cart won't be ready for another in-game game hour, you could just go straight to bed and sleep the time away, or you just stand around doing absolutely nothing for an hour and look kinda creepy just standing mindlessly in the middle of a town, or you could spend the time in the town learning about the lives of the NPCs, what brought them to this town, and or how they're coping with the possible end of the world. This is not padding. This is an optional side quest the player can choose to have to immerse themselves in the world to feel like a more fleshed out world. If they want to, they can partake in it. If not, just go straight to sleep and when they wake up, the cart's ready, let's go! In doing this, the game feels more flushed out and doesn't bring the game to a standstill for arbitrary reasons that won't advance until you find that one person hidden in that one area, in that one room that you can never find. Instead, let's actually talk about the mid-game crawl in Wind Waker and ask the question of why it's a problem, why it happens, why it's bad, and how to implement it without making it feel like a grind or padding. So, let me ask you a question. If you are playing an adventure game, does it fail on a narrative level if at one point it halts to a standstill until you tick the right box? Of course, I'm sure many of you are aware of Egoraptor's Sequelitis on The Legend of Zelda, and I'm not going to pretend that I don't know it exists. I have watched it many times and can quote most of it by heart. While I do not intend to come across as plagiarizing his work, many of my points I make in this video cover many of the same points as him, though perhaps that has something to do with the Zelda formula and not each of our videos. We're both talking about similar topics and Zelda, so it's inevitable there will be overlap. As I was saying though, are you still an adventure if the game is forcing you to follow a path with markers telling you where to go in a specific order? At that point, you're just someone ticking off tasks on a chore list. Even if it is your second time playing the game and you know exactly where to go, in a lot of cases, you still need to jump through all these hoops. You can go to point A and the person asks you to find their treasure. You know exactly where the treasure is. It's at point C. So you just pop over to point C and it's not there. I mean, it should be there, but it's not. Yeah, it won't show up there until you complete all the other tasks on your chore list. Even though you know this is where it will send you after you complete all the tasks, it's not there. As Aaron said,
you're no longer a pioneer adventurer, you're a guest at Disneyland.
Tears of the Kingdom is probably the worst offender of this in recent years, and how the water temple... I'll talk more about that in a video on that subject, because there are things to be said, trust me. But yeah, that is a whole thing. Despite the fact that in many cases the game has made the very clear point of saying there's no time to spare, you must hurry, the world is ending, quickly, you must advance the adventure. In order to do that, you must deliver this soup to Grandma who lives on the other side of the world. Now quickly take the soup to Grandma in order to save the world. But be careful, it's a very fragile bottle, so if you're not careful it might break, and if it does break you have to come all the way back here to get a brand new bottle of soup and then deliver it to Grandma. But also it's piping hot soup, so you have to deliver her as fast as you can. So make sure you get it there in time, because if it gets cold, then you're going to fail the quest as well, and you have to come back to me and get the soup again. So make sure you get there as fast as you can, but make sure not to break it. And that way, once you give Grandma the soup, you can save the world, or you need to come back to me and get the next quest to be able to save the world. So off you go deliver the soup to Grandma. But the world is ending, you must hurry! But first deliver the soup. In the case of Wind Waker, the player wants to return to Hyrule, defeat Ganon, and save the world. Because if Ganon were to obtain the power of the Triforce, the world would fall into ruin. Countless lives would be lost. Humanity would be brought to their knees. Gee, doesn't that sound like a really big deal? Doesn't that sound like a time-sensitive issue? Doesn't that sound like something that should be stopped? But in order to do that, the player needs the Triforce of Courage to destroy the barrier to Hyrule Castle. But you know what? That's no real problem. Obtaining the power of the Triforce of Courage is a staple trait of Zelda games. I'll just go do the quest that allows me to get the Triforce of Courage. It's a bit of a side tangent, but let's see, what do I have to do? Clear a dungeon, fight a boss, rescue a princess, unlock the true power of the Master Sword? No. It seems like in order to get the Triforce of Courage, I need to go do a fetch quest. I mean, it's a bit anticlimactic, but yeah, sure, I'll go to wherever the Triforce is and go pick it up, I guess, because that's what we got to do, right? Sure. But hey, at least it's a quick fetch quest and then I can go back to adventuring. What I have to do, take the fully powered up Master Sword to the Great Deku Tree or one of the other gods of the world who will reveal the location of the Triforce of Courage now that I'm ready to wield it? No! I need to go collect a map that tells me where it is. Okay, that doesn't sound that bad. This is getting less and less epic with each reveal, but Sure, let's go get that map and then we can go get the Triforce and then we can go back to Hyrule. Yeah, guess I'll just go grab that one. Wait, no, there are 8 maps. So let me go get the map to get the map that allows me to get the Triforce piece. That shows 8 maps that tells me the one location of the Triforce, which allows me to get the Triforce and return to Hyrule, right? Cool, okay. Wait, no. The Triforce is broken up into 8 parts, which means 8 fetch quests, which means 8 maps, which means 8 side quests. But wait, the only way to do those fetch quests is to do a secondary fetch quest, which allows you to unlock the ability to do the primary fetch quest. However, before we go any further, I do want to acknowledge that, yes, I am criticizing a 2-decade-old game made under time restraint where a large amount of the features were cut from the game. Even so, Nintendo actively chose to spend time creating a side quest to find the map when they could have just had the chart hunt and hid the Triforce where the charts were found. Instead, they had to spend time coding the side quests and the Triforce chest locations in the ocean. So even if the game were made under time crunch, they chose to use that time to write extra steps, leading to even less time to work on the rest of the game. And this legitimately bothers me a decent chunk. And while I'll go into it later in a little bit, I do want to call attention to here as well. When creating Wind Waker, they had a very tight time frame. Within the time frame, they created the Triforce hunt, where they could have hidden the pieces in the chests where the chests were found. And that would have been it. They would have had all the extra time to work on the rest of the game. Instead, they spent time adding more steps, leading to less time to work on the rest of the game, and, if the rumours are to be believed, having to cut an entire 2 dungeons out of the game because there wasn't enough time to finish it. Because of this, so much of the Triforce hunt is at best time consuming and at worst an absolute tedious crawl. On top of that, on a narrative in-game level, the Triforce hunt does not make sense. Seriously, it's not so much a here's a giant plot hole in the game that doesn't make any sense kind of thing. It does logically, it does have an answer, let's say. I'm not going to say logically makes sense because it doesn't, but it's more a sure, this could have happened in the world, but why on Earth or why on Hyrule would anyone ever do something this stupid with something so important kind of thing? And if you want to know about that, there should be a video here, I believe. You can click on this for the second part in this series, because this is kind of a long series. So I kind of like clickbait you and think this was one big video. Nah, this is a big long series. So click on this one to be able to watch it now, because seriously, I don't think I've heard anyone else talk about this subject. It baffles my mind. Anyway, click on that to find out.